Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Gears 12. Today I'm talking about the brand new album from Evile entitled Skull, their 4th studio album release. Real quick before I actually jump off into this review, give you my full opinion, there's a link in the description to a good buddy of mine's YouTube channel. His name is ThomasDaRochaholic. If it wasn't for his review of this exact same album from Evile-Skull, then I probably would not have realized that they released the album, so shout out to him. Go check out his channel, see what he's all about. Check out his review of this album as well if you're interested to see his opinion. So anyways, guys, let's get back into Evile. So if you know the band Evile, then I don't have to say anything, but if you don't, this is a thrash metal band that's been around for a couple years. They made a big name for themselves, putting out some really amazing thrash metal albums, and now we're here with the 4th studio album entitled Skull. And if you do know the band, that this is their 2nd studio release since their bass player who died in 2009, named Mike Alexander. So they have continued on without him. And so people are just seeing, how the band is coping with his death. And we saw on the 3rd album where it felt like more of a tribute album, but now we have Skull. So what is this album going to be a tribute album as well? Well, for me, I would say it's not, but I see there's a lot of anger in this album. I felt like lyrically this album's very angry, and the songwriting is aggressive as hell. Like, that is something I really noticed. This album is jam-packed with really fast, really aggressive riffs. Now, this is not new to Evile, but in all of this chaos that's happening within this album, it seems like there's more aggressive, fast-paced riffs than usual on this album. I feel like this is the album where they're letting out their anger, and they're the anger's coming out, really, from the passing of their bass player. That's what I'm assuming. Of course, this is my own opinion, my own interpretation of the album, but that's what I felt. So, having said that, also is that this album is packed with a bunch of fast riffs, but there's also some moments where the band does bring it back as well, give you some melodic stuff, give you some slowed down riffs, so where you can kind of catch a breather real quick in between all the aggressive, fast-paced stuff that's happening through here. I feel like that the band has matured in a way as well, because hearing their first releases up to now, their 4th release that I'm reviewing right now, musically it feels like they've grown. I'm not sure if it's because of the fact that they've been around for a couple years and this is their 4th album, so they're kind of getting more comfortable writing material, or if it's the fact that the passing of the bass player Mike, if it was a eye-opener and they've really just want to put out the best music possible in memory of him. I'm not sure, but it feels like on this album that they've kind of stepped it up musically, and they've stepped it up songwriting, the songwriting at least. It feels like they've stepped that up as well. I mean, you can listen to the song Tomb, which is, I think, it's the longest song on the album, and it's got this really cool acoustic guitar, and it has a solo a little bit past the halfway point that reminds me a lot of like really melodic, really soft solo work, and it just really like gave me like chills. Like, it just felt really powerful, but it wasn't like technical powerful. It was melodic, very soothing, and it was just kind of different in a really cool way to change it up on this album, because throughout this album, the fast-paced aggressive riffs, the solo work, which I'll get to that in a minute, which is just wow, just wow. It just felt like that the band is able to just come up with all these great stuff. It feels like to me that the band is not close to running out of ideas, and that's good, because with thrash metal, which is, I could say, it's not like the hardest stuff to write, but it's not the easiest stuff to write either. And I think that a lot of the stuff on this album that really blew my mind musically, that stuff had to take some time to write, and I think that that's really good that they're still able to come up with riffs that are surprising me, because it shows that they're not slowing down, and the fact is that they're still able, like, there's still stuff in them for them to go, okay, we're gonna write this, and this, and it comes out way better than probably expected. But I'm just really impressed by this album. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm impressed by this album. I really am. So let's talk about the sound of the band, and we'll talk about as well as the sound. Also, we'll talk about how they performed as well. So let's go to Matt Drake, who's on lead vocals and rhythm guitar. His vocal work is as good as ever. It sounds like the vocal production is a step up on this album. His lyrics are very good as well. Like I said about the aggressive part, they are aggressive as hell, and that's really all I have to say about the lyrically. It's just, lyrically, I was impressed by some of the lyrics he's having, and he's sounds very angry. And as a vocal work, it's still good. If you don't know the vocals for Evile, they are a mix between they're not growls, and they're not really singing. I guess you could say there's some moments on this album where there are singing, but for me it feels like more of like he's yelling, and he's basically just being aggressive and at your face. It's not growls, not death growls, it's not that. No, 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 no. But rhythm-wise, like I said before about early in this review about the rhythm work is really impressive. Like, there are riffs that blow my mind each time I get to it on the album when I'm re-listening to it again and again. The rhythm work is just ridiculous. It's just mind-blowing, some of the riffs that they're coming up with a band that's only been around for a couple years. It's impressive that some of the riffs are blowing my mind. It really is. Let's go to All Drake on the lead guitar. The lead work has never been disappointing in Evile. It feels like that each album, All is getting better with his lead work. He is able to come up with some really technicalized lead guitar solos and also some melodic guitar solos that are very powerful. But overall, his guitar work, it seems like he's getting better and better each album. Same thing with Matt Drake on rhythm. It sounds like they're both getting better at what they're doing in the band, excluding the vocals for Matt. It feels like rhythm-wise, Matt's getting better. Lead-wise, All is getting better. And I enjoy that. So I'm kind of going, what's the next album going to have? Is it going to be even crazier and faster and more aggressive than the album before? We'll see. But I think like the tone they went for the rhythm-wise, very powerful, heavy, crunchy, thrashy. What you want from a thrash metal band, they have that guitar tone from this album. Lead guitar, it's the same thing what you'd expect in the rhythm section. Loud, aggressive, and very, very thrashy. And that's what happens on the lead guitar as well. Let's go to Joel on bass, who has been in the band since Mike's passing. There are some moments on the album where his bass is, he's playing something different, and you can hear him stand out. And I just like how they're giving him some moments to play on through the album, and it's really cool to that they're not holding him back. The fact that, you know, Mike's passing, that they're not, you know, hazing him. They're basically allowing him to go out there and do some really good bass stuff there. So that's really good to hear. So his bass, good job, Joel. Let's go to Ben on drums. For me, when I first heard the first album from the band, it feels like the drumming, it was good, but it feels like it just felt like some of the stuff wasn't technicalized enough. But on this album, like, just the fact that I've said, like, it feels like the band's grown. It feels like Ben has grown as well, drumming-wise. There's a lot of good drums on here. There's a lot of good drumming on this album is what I meant to say. There's a lot of great drumming stuff that he's throwing in. It's impressive. It's really impressive, and I can't keep up, and it takes some skill to keep up with what he's playing. Since they're playing really fast and aggressive riffs, he's got to keep up drumming-wise. Can he do it? He is doing it, and he's just doing some really interesting drum stuff here. I have to give him props. The drum sound is very heavy, what I expect from Evile, and he did another great job. A lot of good drum fills. Just, wow. So, as a whole, as a band, this band is showing that they are still able to come up with really creative ideas and putting out some amazing songs and able to play tighter than ever musically. This band is not slowing down. There are some slowdown moments, but just the riffs on this album are just impressive. It's really just mind-blowing, the stuff that they're coming up with, and you're going, this band's only been around for a few years? Are you kidding me? And that's the case. This band is just improving. So I have to give props to the band. I have to give props for the people that produced this album. It really is a great sounding thrash album, and the band comes up with really amazing songs, and the song structures are really, really good. So props to Evile for another great release of Skull. Check out the album if you haven't. You have to go listen to it. It is just an album to remember. It really is. So if I had to give a rating for this album, a 9 out of 10, I think that's a good rating for this album. Really great guitar work, excellent songs, just a great way to say we're Evile and we're here to stay. So go check out the album Skull. It's amazing. Please go check it out. That's my review, guys. If you like my review, please like the video if you haven't already. And if you like me and you want to see more, click up there, click my name, or subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys later.